Hey everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter. Thanks for stopping by today. Today I am going to create a really fun, colorful card. I'm going to be using this stamp set from Technique Tuesday. It's called the Love Borders stamp set. And I am going to combine not only rainbow, but ombre. I am going to stamp an ombre rainbow, and it is going to be fabulous. So I'm starting out with all of my Hero Arts ombre ink pads in front of me. I'm starting out with the pink to red, and I am kind of inking this up on the bottom to the lighter two colors. I start by pressing my stamp into the ink pad and then kind of tapping back and forth across the border of those colors to kind of blend that color really well. And then I'm going to stamp this little round envelope stamp onto my Nina Solar White card front. Now, I love ombre and I love rainbow and I love color. So this card, I love the way it turned out, but I have to be really honest with you. I'm going to let you watch me kind of stamp these across the card front. But I have to be honest with you. When I think of ombre as an O-M-B-R-E, which is like light to dark color, I think of hombre as in Spanish hombre, which means man. Now, a lot of you may not know this about me, but I'm a redhead. I am from California, but I speak a lot of Spanish. I'm not completely fluent, but I speak a lot of Spanish. And so I have a really hard time when I say hombre because I think of hombre because there's a slight difference in the way that you pronounce it, but it sounds a lot the same. And so if I mess up when I'm saying this, you'll just have to forgive me. It's my Spanish speaking background that's coming into play here. So you see me stamping these all across the card. I'm creating this beautiful ombre rainbow. And for the blue one, I switched over to the circle stamp that says with all my love. And I stamped that in the pool to navy ombre ink. And then I stamped another one onto the side because I'm actually going to pop that up, but I wanted to stamp it on the card front to kind of act as a placeholder. And so you can see I've worked across, I did the pink to red, the light peach to dark peach, the butter to orange, the green ombre ink pad. Then I did the pool to navy, and I'm finishing up with the lilac to grape ombre ink pad, and I've stamped those envelope stamps all the way across. The only one that's different is that blue one, and that's because I'm going to pop that up and kind of make it the focal image of the card. Now, when I stamped all those circles across the card front, I didn't quite make it to the edge, and I really wanted both of the ends of that to kind of bleed off the edge. So you see that pink to red one bleeding off the edge and the purple one. I had to trim that down so that the purple one would bleed off the edge. And so I trimmed a little off the top to make it kind of proportional. And then I punched out this extra little blue one that I had stamped with all my love sentiment. I punched that out with a 1-inch circle punch. And now I'm going to use one of the actual border stamps from the stamp set and stamp it right beneath. Now this border stamp had a couple of little arrows on the end, and I didn't want to include those arrows, so I went ahead and snipped them off with my scissors and I put them onto the carrier sheet so that I can still mount it the way that it was designed. If you don't want to trim your stamps, you can always do a little bit of masking, but quite honestly, it doesn't bother me to trim my stamps, so I went ahead and did it in this case. Now I'm using my Misty tool to stamp this onto my card front, and I'm going to tell you something. Do not do what I'm doing here. Do you see how my paper is right in the middle of this Misty? Bad idea. I was lucky, it stamped straight, but if you push that paper all the way to the edge of the Misty, it's going to help keep your paper straight in the Misty, so then you know that you're going to get your stamping straight. Now, like I said, I didn't end up messing this up, but for future reference, I would just recommend pushing that all the way over to the edge. So now that I have that little supporting kind of sentiment, it says a little something for someone I love. I have that stamped onto my card front. I have a few pieces of pattern paper here that I've trimmed in to some angles and some banner ends, and I am just going to kind of arrange those, and then my little lazy way of keeping them the way that I want them is just stapling them with the tiny attacher. And then you can use the excuse also that that little staple is kind of a fun little accent, which, you know, I totally did that on purpose. So now I'm just adding a little bit of Be Creative tape to some fun foam because I want to add some dimension behind this card front. And I like to use the fun foam because it adds an even layer of dimension and prevents any kind of saggage or warpage warpage. Is that a word? Warping behind the card front. So I just attached that onto the back of my card front using some Be Creative tape and fun foam. And now I am trimming out this heartstrings die. This is from Technique Tuesday as well. And I'm trimming it from some gold glitter cardstock that I have some fun foam attached to the back of already. Now I created this fun foam backed glitter paper in a previous video, and I'll be sure that I link that below. And I'm just using the excess to cut out some of those hearts. The center of the larger heartstring border in this Technique Tuesday die set actually punches kind of hearts out of the center of the string, and so that's what I'm going to be using on this card. Now I wanted to bring in a little bit more of that black and white striped paper, so I'm just attaching that to the bottom of my card front using a little tape runner adhesive, and then I'm trimming off the excess. And then once again, I thought it would be fun to repeat kind of that notebook paper that I also used in that flag grouping across the top. So I'm just attaching that right below the black and white pattern paper along the bottom of the card front. Now, I was going to attach this, I did attach this onto a white linen card base, and I was going to attach it directly on there, but I decided it needed a little bit of contrast, and so I just grabbed a piece of blue cardstock and attached that card front onto the cardstock, and then all of that grouping onto the white linen card base. So now that my card is basically assembled, I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing from the foam tape that I attached to the back of that with All My Love sentiment. I'm just going to pop it up right over that one that I stamped onto my card front. And now I'm just adding some dots of multi-medium in the matte finish around the card front, and I'm going to sprinkle some sparkling clear sequins as well as some of those gold glitter hearts that I cut out that have a little dimension behind them. I'm sprinkling those over the card front, and then I'm going to finish this card off by adding a layer of Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen over the top of my sentiment piece there, just to add a little bit more shine. And that completes my very colorful ombre rainbow, or rainbow ombre, whatever you want to say, card for today. And I mean, seriously, it does not get better than combining ombre and rainbow together. I mean, come on now, people. As always, I will have links to all the supplies used in this project over at my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com, where you can see more still shots and find more information. And I will link to the featured supplies in the description at YouTube. Thanks for stopping by today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.